Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, we were all following on Nile TV International minute by minute the coronation ceremony of King Charles III. Well, it was such a huge event. And as I said, we were following all the details, all the coronation rites, all the church rites. More than 100 world leaders, prime ministers, heads of governments were there to share the historical moments with the royal family of the UK. And of course, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, was there in London to participate in the huge event. And he also had many meetings on the sidelines of the ceremony. To shed more light on the coronation ceremony of King Charles of Great Britain, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Hussein Haridi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. A very good morning to you, Ambassador Haridi.
Good morning, madam. Good morning.
Sir, before going into the details of this huge ceremony, let's have first a quick look at the Egyptian-British diplomatic ties.
Well, lately, relations between Great Britain and Egypt have been developing, and of course, this has come in the wake of Brexit. Of course, once the Great Britain left the European Union, I guess the successive British governments, whether under the premiership of Mr. Boris Johnson or his successors, I guess were eager to develop their relations not only with Egypt, but with the Arab world, particularly the Gulf countries. So the participation of Egypt in the coronation of King Charles III came in this context, as well as in the context, of course, of the relations that have existed between Egypt and Great Britain from the 19th century. Of course, this bilateral relations have seen the ups and downs, but the ups were greater than the downs. And now both parties, Egypt and Great Britain, have turned the page in this history, and they are looking forward for developing their bilateral relations, particularly in the fields, in the economic, commercial investment fields. Speaking of investments, I guess Britain is ranks among the big countries that have foreign direct investments in the Egyptian economy. And we are looking forward to increasing such collaboration with the British.
Yes. Sir, how have you followed the coronation ceremony? These historical few hours which took place yesterday and were followed by billions, I may say billions of people worldwide.
Well, it was expected before the coronation took place yesterday that almost around 2 billion viewers would follow the coronation throughout the world. Of course, this something was very prestigious. And of course, I take this occasion to wish His Majesty King Charles III the best, and for the British people, the very best in the years to come. Having said that, of course, it was an impressive ceremony, and we have noticed that the majority of the British people were very proud, were very happy. And I understand, personally speaking, I understand they take such a pride in the coronation of a new king from the Windsor House, from the House of Windsor, because these traditions go back to 1,000 years.
1,000 years?
Yes. So the British monarchy does represent for the British people continuity in their history. And of course, speaking about His Majesty the King, Charles III, I guess he is one of the most progressive British monarchs to accede to the throne, to the British throne. And we, as the Crown Prince and the Prince of Wales, His Majesty visited Egypt quite a few times during the Mubarak era and during Sisi era also. And I don't have a precise count of how many times he visited Egypt. His Majesty visited Egypt, but what I retain from these visits is that each time he made a point of meeting with the Grand Sheikh of Al-Azhar.
Al-Azhar.
And I remember, speaking of His Majesty, I remember as the Prince of Wales, he participated. He was the guest of honor in the inauguration of the Islamic Center of the Oxford University in the mid-90s. And he gave the speech. He gave a speech in which he really praised the relationship between the Arab-Muslim civilization.
And I think all Egyptians remember the photos of late Princess Diana in veil in Al-Azhar. Some great memories we have.
Yes, madam. And he also, His Majesty also visited his latest visit to Egypt. He was accompanied by Her Majesty the Queen. So the present Queen of England, of Great Britain. Yeah. So, but he of course, the last time the British people and the world had seen such a ceremony goes back to 1953.
More than 7 decades. He waited for more than 7 decades to be crowned as a king.
Well, the point that I would like to make is that the world has changed. Great Britain has changed. And fortunately for Great Britain and the world and the Commonwealth countries, His Majesty King Charles III realizes that the world has changed, and accordingly, I guess he would prove to be one of the most progressive monarchs in British history.
Yeah, sir, we are talking about the king and the queen consort. When it comes to their duties, or what are their tasks? Because of course we know that of course their position, their value, the royal family, they do have a great position in the hearts and minds of all the British people and 14 realms, by the way. It's not only the UK. But what are their most important tasks?
Well, let me point out something. She's no longer the queen consort. Yesterday, she has been crowned queen. So she was designated as queen consort by the late British monarch, the late Queen Elizabeth II. Elizabeth II. But yesterday she became the queen of Great Britain.
Okay.
So that's the first thing that I would like to underline. Second thing, of course, you know, by the British Constitution, the unwritten constitutional rules that govern the political system in Great Britain is that the monarch does not interfere in the work and the functions of the executive branch. This is up to the government. But they would remain a symbol, a historic symbol, a political symbol, a majestic, between commas, symbol of British continuity, of the British system of government. So I believe His Majesty King Charles III has shown interest in environment, in climate change, in supporting innovation among the youth. He has a fund, he has a trust, he has established a trust in his own name to help innovation, to encourage innovation among the young people. And on the other hand, I guess he is also interested in what we call the debate and the mutual respect among the monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And we, in this context, I have just allow me to say that for the first time in coronation, the religions of the world were represented yesterday. Islam was represented, Judaism, and as you know, of course, the monarch, the British monarch, is by tradition the president of the Anglican Church. So, in conclusion, madam, I wish His Majesty King Charles III the very best, and we wish the British people all the best in the years to come. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye.
We were very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Hussein Haridi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, and we were talking about the coronation of King Charles the Third, which took place in London yesterday with the attendance of Prime Minister, of course, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Prime Minister Dr. Madbouli met with King Charles III and conveyed the greetings of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to the King, and also the well wishes for the United Kingdom to achieve more prosperity and welfare. Also, the Prime Minister had other meetings with his counterparts from all over the world who were there to participate in the huge ceremony. He also met with the British Foreign Minister, and they discussed a number of issues of mutual concern, topping the list of the regional crises, and particularly the crisis in Sudan, as Prime Minister Madbouli spoke about the Egyptian stance regarding the continuous attempts to reach a comprehensive integrated ceasefire, and to once again return back to peaceful dialogue, to initiate peaceful dialogue for the best interests of the Sudanese people and to maintain the sovereignty of the Sudanese land. This is to say to what extent really Egypt is enjoying deeply rooted historic ties with the UK, as also King Charles III expressed his appreciation for the participation of Prime Minister Madbouli in the coronation, reflecting the long history of ties between UK and Egypt. Also, the Prime Minister conveyed the greetings of the President to the royal family upon this historic moments, and it really reflected the history of the UK, the rites or the rituals which took place yesterday, reflecting 1,000 years of history regarding the royal family in the UK. Now, King Charles III is the king of Great Britain and 14 other realms. Here we are including Canada, including New Zealand, and this is going to change, I think, the whole course from the coins to the bank notes. You are going now to find the photo of King Charles over all the sterling pounds and even the coins, the pence, the 50 pence, and the royal mint of the UK also distributed maybe thousands of coins relating the story, narrating the story of Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away at the age of 96 last September, and now King Charles III of the UK. Well, this was only a brief idea about what was going on yesterday and the participation of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli in the coronation ceremony on behalf of the President. Right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.